Today's cattle market and the way we ranch is quite a bit different. So I would like to take you along with me as we go through some of our daily activities here on the ranch. Now, there's a lot of ranches in the state of Texas and all across the country. So I want to just let you know that what we do here is probably pretty typical of what most ranches do, but everybody has their own unique and special way of making their business and their production work for them, all while making a great protein product that we can make sure that the consumers, which is you and your family, can have for dinner. But just know that we're very excited that you're joining us here today and over the next couple of days, and I hope that you find this information helpful. Before we begin, I would challenge you to get a piece of paper or grab your journal and write or draw or express the following things for me as we go through this journey. 1. Compare and contrast what you see in the landscape. Is it similar to what you are experiencing where you live, or does it change quite a bit in the geography? So go ahead and compare and contrast what you see in the landscape and the geography versus where you live. The second thing I'd like you to do is write down 3 things that you learned from this experience. And then I would like for you to write down any other questions that you may have regarding either the history that we talked about earlier, agriculture in general, or even if you have questions about what we're about to do in our cattle operation. So it's a really windy day here in the panhandle of Texas, and so we decided we would go ahead and do some inside work, and we're going to process our herd bulls here, our young yearling bulls, so they are getting ready to get their yearly vaccine, and so I want to just explain to you a little bit about what's going on. So this is a chute. This helps to hold the animals gently by putting pressure on their sides so they can't move around while we give shots or while we tag them or brand them. And this helps us manage the process and protects the animals as well as the people who are working with them. Today they're getting a vaccination and a medicine that will help control parasites and lice in their guts. So this chute's about 30 years old. It's not the newest and the greatest, but it works for what we need. And so what we'll do here is then as soon as they get their shots, they get let out and back into their pen and go to the pasture. So my son here, I forgot to mention this earlier, most agricultural farms or ranches involve their kids to help get the work done. This has always been the case, and it's that way here too. You see both my son and my daughter helping along with my husband, Dr. Johnson. They each have specific responsibilities based on what they're capable of doing to help the process move along, including pushing or moving the cattle down the alley, running the chutes, or giving the shots. This is a family operation, so we all pull together to get the work done, and at the end of the day, it's a long day, especially after a windy day, and we're tired and glad to be done. Tomorrow I'll bring a new task or adventure to the to-do list, but it's all worthwhile in order for us to produce an awesome tasty and healthy beef protein for the consumer. That'd be you and your family. So thank you for visiting us today. So we're in our pasture here where we're going ahead and adding supplements to our tank here. It looks they're about out, and so we were going to go ahead and fill that for today. So this is a supplement that's kind of like a nutritious shake for humans. It's a supplement that includes a lot of good things for the cattle as well. In the background you can kind of see our pasture. The one good thing about the panhandle is you can see for miles and miles and miles. And you might also be able to see that the grass is starting to green up, which is also a really good thing for the cattle. They can start getting a little more protein from their grass. So anyway, my husband's Dr. Jay Johnson. He's a ruminant nutritionist, and his PhD is in ruminant nutrition. So I'm going to have him explain a little bit to you what this is that we're filling and what it does to help our cattle.
Good evening. So right now what we are filling into this tub is a liquid feed that has protein and energy in it. And cattle, just like you and I, need protein and energy. So this is designed for this set of cows in their stage of life to provide not only protein and energy that they would need, but also vitamins and minerals that they would need to be successful at raising their kids. While this still looks like a liquid feed, they actually will only eat about 2 pounds a day of this meat. It's designed designed in a manner that that's all they need. That's all they need to get, like I said, the right amount of protein, energy, vitamins, and minerals that they need. So these tubs are designed to hold about 300 pounds of this liquid. And so while we will check these cattle every day, we don't have to bring this setup over here every day and fill these tubs.
Dr. Johnson, why does the tub look so dirty?
Well, so this is a molasses-based tub. So if you've ever had I'm trying to think what the Sugar Daddies or some candies like that, they're molasses-based, they get gooey and really sticky. Well, that's why this tub is dirty, because if we pull this hose out, we may spill a little. We don't want to, but we may spill a little. So it's sticky. You can see, I was looking and see how much was in it, and I was turning the wheel, and I've got a little bit on my finger, and it's tacky. But just like molasses candy that you and I would get.
So how does it work? They come up here and they just lick on it? Can you show me?
So what they do, they come up and they'll lick on this wheel. You can see right here, that's some of the liquid, that's the feed that they will lick on. And they'll lick on that, and that wheel will turn until they get what they want.
So it's about full here, and we're going to try to show you without making too big of a mess, maybe what this looks like. And just to let you know that we're excited to have you with us on this journey. Hi there. So this morning we start in our pasture where we're going to gather or round up these cows. This is what life is like in the Texas Panhandle. As you remembered yesterday, we talked about the Great Plains region and how the weather is, or the climate is extremely unpredictable. Yesterday we were in the 70s and it was windy, but today the temperatures are much colder. We woke up to low 40 overnight low. The wind chill is right now about 29-30 degrees, but we still have to go ahead and gather these cattle. I'm sitting in my pickup so that you can hear me because it is so windy outside. And what we're doing here is we're using our ATV. You may be imagining historic cowboys on a horse and wonder why we don't have any of those. We take advantage of the ATVs and some of the technology there to gather cattle these days. They have been given cake and cubes through the winter, so they know what this is all about. We're giving them this feed. It looks very much like a cookie almost. So this is what we call a cake or cubes, and they like it so much that when they hear the bag rustle, they come running. And so that's why we're able to manage these a little bit better in this manner. And we'll get them moved across as soon as we get the whole herd up here. We're moving our cattle over here into a bigger group, and we're getting ready to move them across the road. So we want to be sure and be safe as we have traffic up and down this road to make sure that there aren't any cars that are involved, and we get them across the road safely. But I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk for a little bit while I was driving in the pickup here, and as you see, our ranger across the way moving cattle as well. I imagine that Goodnight and Loving probably never would have imagined the way we handle cattle today, and the way that we are able to move around in comfort. And I'm sitting here in the pickup and moving these cattle. Now there will be a moment here when we start to sort them that we'll all have to get out, and it'll be an interesting time then because the wind's blowing pretty hard, but we're all geared up and equipped. This is actually what we call a wild rag, and just a little history on that. This is something that we wear in the wintertime. It's very cultural cowboy thing, and many cowboys wear these for protection, mainly for protection from the elements. And it's interesting to know that when they started, that cowboys in the 1800s would make these out of flour sacks so that they would have a little extra protection when they were on horseback. Now, today they're made out of different materials, and there's so many beautiful colors and patterns, and some wear them with a clip, some wear them tied like I'm wearing them today. But it's really kind of a fun cultural history to talk about when we talk about the cowboy, because it's still something that is very prevalent today all across the all across the country. So we're about, like I said, about ready to get these cattle all in a spot where we can move them across the road, and then we'll start the other work of sorting them up. I'm so glad that sorting is done. It was so windy out there and so dusty. I hope you were able to see or hear a little bit about what we did with our sorting and our gathering. It might have been a little difficult, but now that that's done, we have to go ahead and get some feed, because if you remember, one of the groups that we were going to wean we have 9 calves that we brought back that we weaned from their mamas, and so we put them in our pens and we have to get some hay. So we're in my tractor that is used to mainly pick up hay, and we use it a lot in the wintertime. I feel like I live in this thing in the wintertime when we supplement our cows out on pasture with our liquid feed, obviously, that we showed you earlier, but also we give them hay, which is a roughage, and that allows them to feel full because the grass doesn't grow in the wintertime. As you probably learned in science, things go dormant in the winter, and so that grass not growing means that they don't have a constant supply of forage that keeps them full. So we feed hay that helps with that. And for our pens feeding, we always put out hay so that the calves have roughage. We also feed them grain, and we may show you that a little bit later, some of the feed products that we feed our calves when we wean them and put them in the pens. But for now, I thought it'd be fun to take a little ride on the tractor. So here's my tractor. Now this is an older tractor and it's only used for hay. And if you take a look at the front, I'm going to move the forks up and down so you can see what it is that picks up my hay. See those big long spiky thingies at the front? Those are called forks. There's 4 at the bottom and then there's these 2 at the top. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to lower these down and I'll drive while I show you here. So we're going to have a little bit of movement, but I'm going to move forward and we're going to pick up a couple of bales of hay so that we can take it back to the cows and calves in my pen. So here's my round bales. Now the trick here is to get the forks low enough. So we have to lower them a little bit. This is all fueled by hydraulic power. Hydraulic power is a mechanical power. It's really kind of cool. We love to tie science together with social studies and all kinds of stuff. But this is hydraulic power that's actually picking up these bales. These bales weigh quite a bit. There's no way that we would be able to pick them up by ourselves without this. So it's really kind of nice to have this help us with moving hay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to back these up. You see how I picked up 2 bales at a time. We're going to take these across the pasture and down to where I live and where our pens are so that we can put these out for the calves that we weaned. I wanted to show you from the outside here what it looks like from the outside as we have this tractor. My husband's driving it. Dr. Johnson, you met yesterday. We're going to watch him drop 1 bale and then he's going to pick one up and take it to our hay feeder. Now I will tell you that I kind of tricked him into this because it is a competition among us to see who can put the bales in the best, because the hay feeders, sometimes the bales fall wrong and we can't get the hay netting off. So I always like to give him a hard time about how he puts the bales in. Let's see if he does it right. lopsided, but that's okay. That was not too bad. Let's see about this smaller bale, the smaller hay feeder, how it works to get into that one. We normally want it to be up and down so it's more of a cylinder, and that way we can get that hay netting off so that they can get straight to the good stuff that's inside. Oh, not too bad. Still a little lopsided again, but he did good.